Let's lead into it. Yeah.
Let's do this. Let's fucking do another year, another
year, another
oh Jesus, who says that with like
yeah.
I'm like literally so weak. I've had a stomach bug, to not be too specific and horrific about it, for like 2 days. And before that I had the worst hangover I've had in months because it was New Year's Eve. Yeah. And I had to work as well. So I've started the year like dying basically, and I'm not happy about it.
Well, I started my year thriving, so
yeah, good for you.
Can I say my thing because
Yes.
Nick's might be cooler. Because my thing is I've just been binging an anime called The Apothecary Diaries.
What? Is it just about pharmacists? Hot pharmacists?
It's about a girl. It's about a girl who is, it's kind of has a glasses off moment. Oh, she's actually hot kind of thing.
Ooh, yeah, but it's anime, so she takes her glasses off and her tits get bigger.
Yeah. And she's an apothecary working in the Rear Palace in Imperial China in the medieval ages, and she just goes around solving like court drama mysteries with like knowledge of poisons. It's great. Love it.
That sounds right up your alley, Ciarán. I'm happy for you.
You know what anime I saw the other day on Netflix and I was horrified? I forgot the name, obviously, but the description was that it was a vampire obsessed with like a 13-year-old, or a 14-year-old.
That sounds right.
That because he's obsessed with like 18-year-old virgin blood, he wants. Well, I think it's a he, and she's a she. Yeah. He wants her to stay a virgin for 4 more years, obviously, until she's 18, so he can.
Shouldn't be a big ask.
Yeah, yeah, I know, but like, what? Well,
like the sitcom antics happen because he's the one who's down bad for her. So like, yeah.
Yeah, but he's worse than fucking Edward in Twilight.
Oh no, we're back onto Twilight. First episode back.
But
we're not. We haven't stopped. Twilight. Welcome to the Twilight Zone, where we just talk about Twilight.
That would be such a funny.
Exactly.
That would be such a funny bit if there was a podcast out there that was like a Twilight fandom podcast, and
well, obviously there is. There's 100,
but like obliviously called itself the Twilight Zone, not knowing
that the Twilight Zone was like very much a thing.
It's a thing.
Yeah. Sorry, I don't know which anime that is because that feels like that's about 12 of them at least.
It looked very like 90s. Style of anime. How Netflix just has like a bunch of old animes, not even
it picks up
ones.
A lot of like and you'd have different ones over there than I would have because like it's so cheap to pick those up. The one that I've unironically been enjoying, if you want the recommendation, I think Nick would enjoy this, is Dan to Dan.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah, about a girl who doesn't believe in aliens and a guy who doesn't believe in the occult. The guy gets possessed by a ghost and the girl gets abducted by aliens, and antics ensue from there.
Fair.
And it's real good, and the intro is a real good intro.
So it's like astrology boyfriend, schizo girlfriend.
Yeah, or like no, it's like astrology girlfriend. Gladio boyfriend, kind of like.
So it's like every relationship I've been in. This is my life. Yeah.
Oh man, I'm living my life, Dan to Dan. Yeah, it's really good. It has your typical anime bullshit of just like then the aliens steal the guy's like penis for a bit because that's what they.
No,
it's real good.
No, thank you.
No, you lost this
now. Now this sounds nothing like my life.
You're wrong. You have to watch it.
I don't even have Netflix. I've been
you can just pirate it.
I don't want to do that. I live in Germany.
What do you mean end?
Yeah, but like I know like someone near and dear to me has been hit twice with those lawsuits as of late, like back to back because of like because of like
letters you get post.
Yeah, because like people who've been using their Wi-Fi have been stupid. It wasn't even their fault.
Yeah. No, you can just you can okay. So in Germany, it's streaming. You just go to the like, you can stream.
I know.
It's just not torrenting. Yeah.
Yeah.
I literally asked Ciarán, like, Ciarán, what's legal? Well, I mean, obviously streaming is not legal either, but you know, like, am I gonna get in trouble?
Yeah.
IT guy, let me know.
Yeah.
Ciarán, what's legal? Anything you described in that last anime you were talking about? No.
Yeah. Why isn't this an anime? Ciarán, copyright lawyer at large.
I'm just jacked.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, but down to down guarantee. No stuff.
No. Again, there's a whole side of you, Ciarán, that scares me, and I do not want to know.
Down to down, so good. No. You are so wrong. Watch it. It's real good.
I thought you said Israel good, not Israel good.
No, it's real good.
It's like, 2025 corner Späti take. Actually, we're pivoting to Germany got us. We have to become Zionists now.
Legally,
like in order for the show to be required, I have Ulf Polshot pointing a fucking marauder at my face right now.
Fourth mic, Ulf Polshot here with a gun.
Yeah, sponsored by the podcast is now sponsored by Rheinmetall.
Oh yeah,
as in they're supplying Ulf Polshot with all the munitions pointed at my dick.
Every episode we cut to like a mid read. Like mid roll ad read of him just talking about like what gun of the day do we have pointed at Nick to control his opinions. Until we could move our tax status to Malta, we are unfortunately a Zionist party.
Yeah, exactly. Today I have a Heckler and Koch HK416 pointed at Nick's balls right now.
Yeah. And we have like the plinky like fucking stock music underneath.
Yeah. Equipped with an ACOG sight, so I won't miss his dick.
It's point blank range,
but still,
I don't take any chances. Anyway, with that, hey, welcome to your New Year 2025 Corner Späti main episode, main feed. Let's go. Let's talk about
We did it. Entering year 6 of the show.
Wow, Jesus.
Yeah. We'll do a Q&A or something for like February when it's the actual 6-year anniversary.
Sure, fine, yeah.
Yeah, I'll set up some I'll set up some places where people can ask questions.
Sorry, Nick, you did not seem very excited about that.
No shit questions.
Yeah.
That's on you. Listen.
Well, I mean, Ciarán filters the questions beforehand.
Yeah, you will
it's
filter
fine.
it, Ciarán.
Yeah.
Oh, you didn't in intro who's on the show today, Ciarán. That's
right.
Yeah.
It's me, Ciarán, and I'm joined by Uma.
Hello.
And Nick.
Hello, Happy New Year.
And fourth mic, Ulf Polshart with a gun. He won't say much until the ad read later on. I don't even know what he sounds like. Is it just German guy speaking English?
It's just it's just German guy, yeah.
Yeah.
It's very uninteresting. The only interesting thing about him is that he used to be my friend, and he would always share me his Spotify rap playlist, which was always #1 Drake, and very fitting. I'm just imagining just like Ulf Polshot like driving around listening to like sad era Drake.
Like this is how this podcast ends, right? The last episode is we finally get Ulf Polshart on, ask him his opinions on the like Drake Kendrick Lamar.
Oh, he's 100% pro Drake. That's just the
good,
yeah.
Because I was going to say what like regardless of his answer, we should just very defiantly just and annoyingly take the opposite position and constantly
exactly. Like you're wrong.
Yeah,
this is like how could you defend Drake? He's a pedophile, allegedly. I don't think the allegedly anymore, but yeah.
No.
Oh no, it is. We can say allegedly because I think Kendrick Lamar has kind of just come out and said it. So
yeah,
he's alleging. We're repeating.
No. Ulf Poschut likes going. Ulf Poschut though probably loves going down, like driving roof down on his Porsche 911, listening to shit where it's just Drake being like, cruising in the 911 Friedrichstrasse, you know, like.
No one dare pedestrianize this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ulf Poschut just spends his entire time when he's not like cranking out 4 paragraphs per week, going up and down Friedrichstrasse.
Yeah. If I see you riding on the bike, I'm gonna hit you. Yeah, girl.
I'm gonna pick you up from middle school. It's always the core. I always feel like the perfect parody of Drake is always just like incredibly hard in the paint kind of like rap, and then when it gets to the like R&B chorus, it's just like, oh, are you done with your maths homework?
Yeah. Well, it's like it's even the funnier thing too, because there's one of these like there's one Drake line that now hits really hard when you mention that, because where like he's like the square root of 69 is 8 something, and I'm like, oh, he is helping her with her math homework, like
coded messages.
Yeah, coded messages.
Yeah.
Yeah, Drake explaining. Explaining algebra 2 to
Millie Bobby Brown.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So new year, same us. You know, we're not changing.
Clearly same us.
Yeah. As I steer this podcast out of the libel zone, let us go into
highway to the libel zone.
How was Berlin New Year's? Do we have some stories?
Well, I mean, we have the news story of the century, right? Of 2 things that were really funny to me and not funny to everyone, because we all experienced the pain of this. I guess if you lived on like the west side of town, that like a massive like water pipe broke on Seestrasse and turned Seestrasse into a literal Z, or a lake, if you will.
And we had no water in our
apartment. No water, baby. For like a couple of hours, and I had the funniest.
My Uma's hungover. The only thing she could drink was alcohol.
Yeah, so I was
I was thankfully already showered, but I would have been so pissed if I had been showering and suddenly there was no water. I was doing my makeup, and then I was like,
What's going on?
And I thought, I even texted my boyfriend, like, did you pay the bills? Like, I was like, did they? Like, what is going on here? And I texted my, like, 80-year-old neighbor, like, hi, do you guys also not have water? And he came up like, no, we don't have water. I'm like, okay, cool, yeah. And yes, it turns out it was a fuckhead in vetting that, like, with one of these illegal blast whatever
fireworks
thing. Yeah, blasted a fucking pipe, and the whole street was just flooded, and that's why.
Yeah, this is
like I drove to Poland trying to buy fireworks and instead got some like World War I era munitions.
Yeah. I mean, really, like this year is the year where I'm putting my foot down and saying I hate fireworks.
Oh, I hate them.
I hate them. I hated them to begin with, but then it's like so much dumb, stupid shit happened this year. So the water pipe breaking in vetting was like, I don't know if it's the pinnacle of it, but it's tied at first place with then like someone let off in my neighborhood, like literally like right across the street, a literal bomb, more or less, so big that it blew out the windows of 36 flats, and also just like incinerated a Späti and a pharmacy.
Right.
And the video of it is just insane because it is like a war munition. It has that much fucking power. And also too, like 5 people died in like the dumbest ways possible. Like someone died from then taking one of those like those illegal fireworks, the Czech ones, and then like wrapped a like aerosol can of deodorant to it and like put like steel wool on it so it would like incinerate more and the pressure would be even more, and they died.
Well, obviously.
Yeah, no, of course, obviously. So I'm
So never mind. We're just recreating World War One munitions.
exactly. We're
exactly.
Berlin's making IEDs because apparently just like normal fireworks aren't enough. Like, and that's like, it really is just like, I'm blaming this on the patriarchy because boys are dumb and we like bigger explosions for some fucking reason.
I think we should just replace it all with doing like jackass stunts. Like just jumping off of things.
I mean, it more or less is the same thing. Like I saw one video of a guy who then's he's holding up one of those like rockets and then like lets go of it. The rocket then points towards him and just like shoots towards him and his friends and just blows up in their face. Luckily nothing happened to them. But it is I mean, obviously explosives, people being very drunk, and then the masculine urge to, make a homemade claymore apparently is a bad mix. And it's very annoying too because then Berlin makes it into like this like migratory issue, which it isn't, because it's the Germans who go cross border, and there's like always like there were these like in the U-Bahn yesterday or whatever, I saw this thing that was like, X% of fireworks that have come over, borders, like illegal, like not illegal, but like European border crossings. We need to like have stricter borders. And it's like, bitch, these are your people doing this shit. These are your, fat, red-faced, Nazi fucks going over to Poland being like, I want to like, I want to blow up my street. And of course, whatever, the attention like gets put to like, the Arab and Turkish areas, but for fuck's sake, it's like it's everyone, it's it's every guy being a moronic buffoon on this day. So my solution, kill all men in the city. I will gladly go, for the sake of it, and New Year's will be better when it's just chicas.
One last New Year celebration, but all men are mandatory to hold one of the fireworks that will kill you when it sets off.
yeah.
I just really like I really don't understand it. And my first New Year's in Berlin was from 2020 to 2021, so it wasn't like this because it was illegal to be
the pandemic,
partying out in the streets or whatever. So I was like, okay, this is nice, normal, whatever. The next year was like, what the fuck is going on? And it's generally like, I am personally afraid of loud noises. I'm like a dog, and it truly is so shitty to be out and about, to have to go somewhere on New Year's Eve when literally people are shooting fireworks at you and like above you, and it's because people are just on the street. It's really I saw this video, which is my biggest fear. Thankfully in my street they weren't really throwing fireworks because it's mostly like old people, whatever, but I saw this video that was a whole apartment on fire because some dickhead had pointed a firework at that apartment, and obviously the apartment just caught fire. And that is generally my biggest fear of living in Berlin, because my biggest fear is our house catching fire, and that's just like on New Year's Eve you're like, oh, this can actually happen.
This is Uma's personal battle of the bulge.
Oh, literally, I'm like a fucking PTSD.
I do think though that then my solution is the only one. Every man has to do the thing of that part of Letters to Iwo Jima where like all the Japanese like officers just
we're doing Berlin seppuku.
Yeah,
which
exactly.
Is death by fireworks.
Yeah, all the Japanese officers just like are like, we're losing, and then they just like take a box of grenades and like just like pull the pin, hold it to their chest, and just explode.
So like I was probably like a Berlin New Year's defender, even though I was the one with 2 dogs and a child.
You're like, I love chaos in my life.
Well, okay. So the thing is, actually, my perspective on it is, and I'm doing this as someone who's recently come back to Ireland, where like all walls and all houses are basically a prank, and they are like paper thin and they don't keep any of the heat. Whereas like a lot of Berlin walls could take like a hit with a tank. And if you close the windows,
I mean,
it actually does.
They did try that, did they not? Like,
yeah, right?
Once upon a time.
Once upon a time.
Who's going to win, this Berlin apartment or a T-34? Let's see. Let's find out. Ultimate Warrior.
Ultimate Warriors. And the thing was, like, but the other side of it is because I had 2 dogs and a kid, I was never out in New Year's. Like, navigating the streets while this is going on is a fucking nightmare.
It's horrible. Yeah.
Staying inside and letting the chaos happen, kind of fine. As long as, you don't get your windows blown out, your apartment burnt down, or any of that other fun stuff that does technically happen. This is really good with our year in review kind of episode, because this is how we started talking last year, because last year I think was the beginning of the like change on a dime in the narrative of like Ulf Polschart was proudly talking about taking his Porsche 911, speeding it to like the second Frankfurt we have on the Polish border, and going to buy fireworks, and then like speeding back. And then on New Year's Day, it became a like, oh, brown people are doing it issue, and now the fireworks are bad. And
he still defended the firework usage though after that, but he just did it racistly.
Yeah, he had a little bit of an off ramp or whatever, but like,
nice to tie in driving with his takes.
It's all driving metaphors, and it's really weird, because I think the kind of more practical solution is one that like the CDU, AfD, FDP would never do, which is, because the way to keep like fireworks in the city and then make it safer would be like a form of investment, which is basically Berlin state buys the fireworks. Right, like the really stupid thing that happens is like fireworks are basically illegal in Germany except for one day of the year, and then they don't have an infrastructure for you then to go and buy fireworks. Everyone goes to like Eastern Europe, to like the borders nearest them. I'm sure it's different in West Germany. And buys like the dodgiest shit rather than like,
That's
I don't know,
really
maybe
true though. Sorry, but like at least what I saw from the 28th, even Kaufland is selling.
Really?
Yeah.
But
So,
Kaufland sells like significantly.
Like they sell the nice, cute fireworks, or like the stuff that like spins on the ground and like has sparkles. Like that's the kind of stuff that Kaufland and other places sell. But as Nick was saying earlier, just like these men want more, and they will go to places, as you were saying, in East Germany or whatever, where they sell the big things or the illegal stuff, even because some stuff is illegal. Even if
the men yearn for Bastogne. Exactly.
Does anywhere in Berlin do like an official display?
Yeah.
Like,
Brandenburger Tor does it. Yeah. Which is, I mean, like, I always grew up with that because in Arizona, fireworks are illegal because it's so dry, you will like burn the city down. And then like they made fireworks like legal maybe like the last couple years I lived there, but it's not like like there would always be, if you wanted to go see fireworks in New Year's, you had to go physically go somewhere.
Yeah,
but I just don't like, I'm not firework pilled. I never was firework pilled. Even when people are like, oh, like when you're like a kid and you're like, oh, I got this like, fucking M80. Let's blow it up. It was like never exciting for me. I'm like, don't care.
Yeah.
And like that's the thing, is that then it's like, well, what's like, I don't want people not to have fireworks on, like, I don't want to be like a complete buzzkill. Like, I don't think that like, oh, we need to like completely like make it illegal. But it's just the sense of like, how do you like discourage the illegal fireworks shit but then also not have like a fucking border control thing. Like it's kind of like
what the CDU solution is going to be, which is just more cops.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like, it's kind of one of these things of like, I have no answers for these. I'm not going to say that I do. It's just that then it's like, it is like, it's no longer fun. Like, and there is like a very much a difference that then has happened like the last few years, where it just seems that then like people are like, I have to go harder and harder and harder. And it's like, I don't mind, for like maybe an hour after like the New Year's rings if people go crazy with it, but it's like it starts like the day before.
It starts at 11 a.m.
Like for me, historically, it started, and this was actually, I feel like, worse during the pandemic. It started in December, like December
just like
1st.
in December, yeah.
Yeah, because like I had one of my dogs is incredibly skittish with loud noises, and going for walks the random day, everyone was just setting off the odd firework, the odd banger. And I feel like more of that was happening during the pandemic because people were like, well, I'm not going to get to use this on Sylvester because there's going to be like crowd control stuff happening. It's, I don't know. It's there's no clear solution, and it's really bad because
That's
we
the
complain.
thing,
I mean, it's going to get to the point where it's going to get so bad that they just ban fireworks, probably, which then might actually be the like easiest one because that's just like, okay, if you can't have it, then no one can have it, and that's like fair. Where it's like we don't have to then do border controls. We don't need to have more police. We don't need to have this. We don't need to have that. It's just like no fireworks. That might be the like safest one, which I don't want that to happen.
I think for me, the nice solution would be kind of like you actually ban fireworks, but then you do more official displays.
You
would, like one per Keats or one per like Ort.
Yeah, Berlin would have to invest money in that though, which they hate.
But they won't.
Yeah, they won't do it. Yeah, that was the thing too with like the pipe breaking. I kept joking of like, oh yeah, CDU budget cuts, baby. First of the year, we have no fucking water.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the fact that they're gonna make it like a racial thing.
Oh, 100%. It already is. Yeah.
It already is, exactly. Yeah. But that's the thing. Like, I hate fireworks and I don't want fireworks, but not because, I don't know, Turkish people are firing them.
Because Germans are doing it.
But Germans, exactly. So they're gonna, how it's what I'm saying. There's no real answer to this, or we can't really give an answer because these people are just gonna either, not spend money because they hate spending money, or make it like a racial issue and just use that to be even more horrible than they already are.
It's the awkward position of like the people who say they hate it because like they love it brackets white, they hate it brackets brown.
Exactly.
Which means the solution is just going to be like police profiling on New Year's Day.
I mean, they already do that in Neukölln. They have like, I mean, last year too, especially with then they had like double police presence there as well, particularly after like, like October 7th and shit like that. So they,
yeah. So do you want to talk about some news that happened? Europe was very rude and continued having events during our little Christmas, New Year's break. The bastards. So we do have to talk about Macron digging himself more of a grave.
What a fucking cunt, man. Oh my god.
It's just such a bad. He's the worst president. I mean, he's really bad.
Yeah, I mean, lucky for you, the French people also agree that he's the worst president because
but he won't leave. He's just
he can't leave. I mean, he will leave when his in 4 years when elections are again.
He can't run for president again.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's more just like I'm looking at this from the perspective of like, if you even look at it from the perspective of spectator sport, it is just kind of like, what the fuck are you doing, man? Get in the game.
Yeah.
Say something nice for once.
I love how then like the Financial Times had like they had like an op-ed the other day of like, what happened to our liberal king Macron? Why is he becoming this way? And it's like he was always this way. You guys are just gullible as shit and don't realize that every person who labels himself as a liberal is like a fascist, waiting to have the moment to be freaks. I mean,
he just has the biggest kind of like reminding the teacher that they had homework vibes. just with like what we're gonna say now, just with that kind of comments and just not being relatable to the people and just being a dickhead to the people. Like why are you like kind of wanna
why hasn't someone beat him up after class is my question. Like, why isn't they just
because he was fucking the teacher. That's
Facts. Anyway,
not allegedly. Like that's a thing.
No fucking until you finish your homework. It's so it's so bad. Anyway, so I mean, like the kind of the circle around Macron is crumbling. There's some stuff happening in like French media that is not getting translated. There's a series of articles coming out now that's like inside Macron's Elysee, and like some of it's positive, some of it's kind of like trying to be even-handed, but then other stuff is like clearly Gabrielle Attal's pissed off and is telling the press like every slur that Macron has ever said. Yeah, so including the one I found out about recently, pede, the slur used in French to imply that all gay men are pedophiles.
He said that slur?
Yeah.
That's hard coming from him.
Oh yeah.
Well, yeah, because the consistent
look at your
rumors,
wife.
No, I mean, like, no, not the rumors. The fact that what Uma said, his wife.
Yeah.
Oh right, yeah, the other side of it, yes.
Yeah, not. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, there's a two-prong. Yeah. Yeah, but he has that like very kind of like South Park 2000s thing of like it's cool when a woman does it.
Yeah, exactly.
Kind of gross mentality, I'm sure. Yeah, I mean he must do. It's his wife, but like you'd have to make that relationship work. But so more specific.
Did he call Gabrielle Attal that?
No, I don't believe so.
Gabrielle is gay, right?
Yeah, yeah, he is. Yeah.
That's insane.
No, but like even where like is that like better that he just kind of said it in front of him?
No. I mean, obviously it's horrible, but I was like, but it would be so like you nominate him and then you're like, and call him that.
By the
like,
way, I can say it because I nominated you.
Yeah, actually, yeah. He's like, I got the pass because I nominated.
Because I gave you a job.
I nominated the child.
Yeah. Actually, it's in the contract. Yeah, I'm allowed to throw X amount of slurs at you a day.
Yeah, it's gonna be like one of those weird kind of like pub trivia questions of like, what was legal in the French Elysee Palace during the years of 2017?
Yeah, that's on the Politico. Yeah, that's on the Political like 2030 quiz of the year.
Yeah.
So the specific event we're talking about is that the French Overseas Department of Mayotte, if I'm saying that right, probably not.
Confirmed, you are.
Hooray!
Me, the French expert of nothing. Just I know French people.
Yeah, Mayotte got hit with a cyclone. In the Indian Ocean, that's where Mayotte is. So he skipped out on like a NATO summit with Ukraine kind of thing because of this as well. And you know, President of France, he has to make an appearance. He has to show that he cares, and he shows that he cares by saying that Mayotte would have been 10,000 times more screwed if it wasn't a part of France.
But I think it was, he said like in shit, like it was really, really badly worded. Like
screwed, I think, is how the polite translation across media is going. Yeah, but
y'all be fucked if you weren't.
Yeah,
if you weren't part of my glorious Reich.
Yeah. If this wasn't France, you'd be 10,000 times more in shit.
Yeah,
because I read it in the news and I immediately texted you guys like, did you fucking see this?
Again, there's so many things. Obviously, your first thing is just kind of like the neo-colonialist kind of like aspect of this, of like very kind of like what is typical of France, I guess, this kind of like paternalistic colonialism of just like, we're here to take care of you. Implication, you couldn't possibly take care of yourselves.
Yeah. It really is the like antithesis of like the this isn't like comparing one good or one bad, but it really kind of, you see the situation as like the opposite of with Valencia recently, because of France being as hyper centralized as it is. You know, like this is where like Macron's comment comes from of like, oh yeah, because everything has to like go through. First off, I guess people have the first reaction of like, Mayotte, where the fuck is that? Oh, France still has open colonial holdings across the world.
Yeah.
Forgot about that one. And then yeah, like even like anything like, and we've seen this also too with like New Caledonia and like the protests and how centralized the backlash has been from Paris in that and this and that. Like it is very interesting seeing how then even with these like, you know, kind of like way out there French holdings, it is still very, like you said, like Macron had to go like immediately to do, you know, I mean, one, to insult them apparently, and to, you know, take up the like rescue efforts and whatnot in comparison to when we were talking about with Valencia, where it was like the the autonomous regions and whatnot have way more say and can also just deny federal help, as we saw with that. So that to me was like one of the really interesting things too, of that, just like how like how still like hyper centralized even the like formal colonial holdings are to France, you know, even in like, I mean, yeah, like the response from Macron was absolutely atrocious and racist and this and that, but like very much, like fits that, you know, I guess, I don't know if he'd be like a Gaullist mindset or whatever it is, but yeah, like this, like, see, these are the benefits of being not only just French, but like, you know.
Yeah. So it's like, it's also very specifically like Mayotte has some small differences compared to New Caledonia. New Caledonia is like devolved. It has its own parliament and government. Mayotte is basically the same as like the 12th arrondissement of like Paris kind of thing,
exactly,
where it's like they don't have a local government, they just send someone to Paris in like an MP, and that's it. They also like they kind of have an out as well, more so because the surrounding islands is where the nation of the Comoros comes from in Africa. Africa, Madagascar, Indian Ocean kind of thing. And during the referendum to like become independent, Mayotte was the island that said no, it didn't want to become independent, it would stay part of France. I can't imagine that was 100% kosher or whatever. I'm sure it leaned towards the white settler population. I don't know. Haven't looked into it. But I believe there is still like this possibility that at any point Mayotte could kind of just like dip out and become a part of Comoro. Comoros would happily accept them, I'm pretty sure. One huge aspect of this whole story of the whole cyclone being hit is that there is like a large kind of shantytown population. Because this is a part of France in the middle of the Indian Ocean, you get like illegal immigration happening. Of people leaving like surrounding areas, conflicts in Africa, or poverty in Madagascar and stuff like that. And because of that, there's this huge undocumented population. And then because of that, there's this like huge kind of like, to use the British term, hostile environment of like trying to keep people out from becoming documented, people kind of avoiding documentation, which means the official death toll of this cyclone is 35. It could be higher because of the shantytown. There's plenty of evidence already to suggest that a portion of the population of the shantytown did not receive the warning that the cyclone was coming and did not know where to go, did not go to like shelter because they don't have access to any kind of official channels. And then like weirdly, so like this has also become a bit of a political football back in like Paris, because the Macronists for the longest time, in so much as they think about Mayotte, have wanted to like get rid of the shantytown. But like in a way that it would just create like a homeless population, whereas La France Insoumise has also wanted to get rid of the shanty town, but in a way that it's like, we need to document these people and like get them into the proper system, into the channels, into like official homeless shelters, get them like receiving charity and social benefits that like regular unhoused people should be receiving. But now like the Macronists are trying to hit the La France Insoumise with the like accusation that they wanted to get rid of the shanty town, and like, how dare you try and care about these people now when you didn't before because you were trying to get rid of the shanty town, etc., etc. Very gross, very strange how this whole conversation is happening.
Can I also say that Macron didn't actually go immediately to, even if he skipped the US, the NATO thing.
Yeah.
Because the cyclone hit on the 14th of December, which was Saturday. He got there until 19th. So it was 5 days of them fending for themselves. That's why people were so mad. And they were yelling at him like, water, water, we need water. They had no water, no running water, not drinkable water, nothing. And that's when he was like, you will be 10,000 more in shit if you were in France. He also said like, I'm not the cyclone, like as if like it's not my fault, but it's like, it is, because you're the fucking president and everything is centralized, you fucking dickhead. And he got there 5 days later without sending any help prior. And as you were saying, there's so many quote unquote illegal immigrants in Mayotte that people really didn't know the scope of the tragedy yet. They didn't know if it was going to be, at first people were saying it could be thousands and thousands of people dead.
Yeah.
And he still took 5 days to go to Mayotte. So
yeah. And then even like whatever help does come, if it has happened yet, it's also probably going to be like contingent on give us your whatever the French national ID equivalent is, kind of thing, to show that you can receive this.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, I'm sure it's gonna be very
it's terrible. And this has always been like a thing with Macron, just going back to like, I'm not President Cyclone or whatever. Like, he's always been someone who like snaps. This has always been a thing of his. Like, I think the first kind of like moment where people realized he's not like, I think people wanted to pretend he was like Justin Trudeau again. Canadian listeners and stuff can correct me if I'm wrong, but Justin Trudeau always at least seemed, like, for all his faults, seemed chill.
Yeah.
Like, in front of, like, he never seemed to get angry in front of the press, kind of thing. And then, like, the first moment was that whole Manu thing, where, like, where some kid innocently calls him Manu, the nickname for Emmanuel, and he's like, how dare you? And it's just like, oh, you're not chill, you're a freak.
Macron would never show his party trick of stumbling down the stairs. Just saying.
Yeah, it's very weird. And it's crazy how a lot of people are not aware of his personality, of how he is like that, because obviously you see him in the news, you see him giving speeches, whatever, but it's obviously a more official setting. He's not snapping or whatever. But when I read that on the news, I was back home in Barcelona and I went to my mom and I was like, look at what a fucking cunt, like, he said this. And my mom was like, what the hell? Like, I didn't, like, what? Yeah. How can a president say this to his people? I'm like, no, I know. And I told him the Manu thing and she was like, what the fuck? Like, people don't really know that he's a fucking weirdo and really not an approachable person whatsoever, and just very, I don't know.
Yeah, it very much is the kind of weird sense of, I think because France is so weirdly, like, linguistically isolated in that regard, that we kind of, like, don't, like, the only way that you can, like, find out these tidbits about, like, Macron's bizarre personality is when you, like, have to read French news or listening to this podcast where it's like, because like everyone at like Politico or The Economist or the Financial Times is so jaded by his like bullshit liberal persona that you only get these like, oh my God, look at our God King Jupiterian Emperor. He's so hot and cool. Yeah. And they're only just like scratching the surface of the Macron shit because that's like what they want to see and hear, even in the sense of when like France was like erupting in like, you know, protests with the retirement shit. It was reported quite poorly in English media because I think that then that most of like the stuff that happens in France just kind of stays in France. You know, it's like I feel that then for a country that then is weirdly so international, they're big enough. Like it's not. I feel this way less so about Germany because I live here, but I feel that I see more like critical negative reporting on Germany like more often in like, you know, liberal press because Germany is now the like center of Europe again, you know? France is still like France is the biggest player in Europe. Everyone kind of forgets that. They're the largest military, well, maybe not the largest military power, but like the strongest military power. One of the strongest economies, and you know, the richest man in Europe is a French guy, and they magically kind of like go under the radar with a bunch of this shit where it's like even like you know, things of like the German economy crumbling and stuff like that currently I see reported on a lot more in like FT, Bloomberg kind of stuff like that than I do with the sense of like, you know, French shit. And it may just be because there's like you know, a bias there that then they're like, oh no, we love this Macron guy. He's our sweet prince. But yeah, like you have to either like find French like left-wing news, which is very difficult. France's media landscape is also hyper corporate like the United States, which also probably helps to then, you know, siphon that, like filter that a lot more because France doesn't have as strong of like a public broadcasting thing like other European countries do, where the media is entirely controlled in France by like two people, like which is becoming more and more the norm in places. So when you do see critiques of like Macron that then come through in like at least big French media, it's normally like, oh, he's not racist enough. Oh, he's like letting too many migrants. And it's never like the sense of, I mean, you have to like go and find these like tiny left-wing publications or whatever that then only write in French. Luckily, we can translate that with the fucking computers now and whatnot. But even then, it's like, you know, the work to do so is a bit difficult. Or you have to like know a French person and just have them yell at you about how horrible France is.
Pro tip, know a French person.
Yeah, pretty much. A cool French person, not a shitty. There's a lot of shitty French people.
Yeah. This is. Yeah, you can get into that problem.
Yeah, corner Späti like, tip: find a cool French person if you're lucky.
Yeah. I mean, this has always been like one of the theses of like, you know, one of my main reasons of why I think this podcast can still be like entertaining is that like language barriers are greatly underestimated by people. There's like this assumption in the English speaking world, at least, that like we have access to all knowledge. Whereas like, yeah, I think the problem with France in particular is it's a lot of like, we only translate the official reporting without any criticism of how much like domestic French media is in the bag for Macron. And like a lot of like non-French media is also in the bag for Macron. Whereas like you get the criticism of like Olaf Scholz because like the German media is not in the bag for him.
Yeah.
Like they're kind of like, we kind of think you're a bumbling fool. Like every like major publication is saying that. But to compare that to a German figure, criticisms of Merkel, like they exist now post-invasion of Ukraine, but when she was the leader of Germany, people outside of Germany didn't really understand any like sensible critique of her. Because that wasn't really in the media.
True. And I mean, like, to the Germany sense too, just to like interject quickly, of like Germany's main wire service is Bild. People think it's DPA, the like German press agency, but Bild is the most well-connected wire agency in this country and does most of the breaking news in, you know, yeah, I mean, it is upsetting, very much so.
God.
Yeah. Like, and I think, and it's the thing too, is that whenever you read like an English language article in German, it'll be like, said by Bild. And when they mean Bild, they mean the wire service of Bild. They don't necessarily mean the like actual newspaper or tabloid or whatever the fuck it is.
As said by Bild, which we can't print here due to antiquated slurs. That seem to be okay to say in Germany, I guess.
Yeah, just like redacted.
Just a lot of asterisks on the page. Yeah, and like I think if you like meet anyone from any like non-English speaking country, even like Ireland, like you always get the frustration, regardless of their politics, of like how their country is talked about elsewhere in the world. And like this is part of it. Anyway, speaking of Bild, we should talk about...
I was going to say perfect transition.
Yeah, right. So Elon Musk got like an op-ed in Welt am Sonntag. Sophisticated Bild. The Bild for your monocle wearing Porsche 911 drivers. Yeah, where he
I love scrolling the Welt app while I'm like doing like 200 kilometers an hour on the Autobahn.
Yeah, on my way to Frankfurt Oder to get like fireworks.
Blasting sad Drake music.
Musk got an op-ed in Welt am Sonntag talking about like how Germany needs the AfD.
How did this like? I mean, the op-ed, like the head editor of that like resigned, didn't they? Yeah, I'm about to say like, how did this pass? And I'm like, oh well.
Well, we know how. Okay, so to get into the like court politics of what's happening over at
Axel Springer Verlag, baby.
Yeah, Axel Springer Societas Europa is the head editor of like the opinion section, the commentara section or whatever, resigned over this. They waited until the article was published, I guess, to make it clear why they resigned. And then, so we're putting out that Welt has done a lot of like, ran a lot of interference post this article. I was looking at their like commentary, like their opinion section after this, and it's a lot of like, free speech is important, or like Germany shouldn't feel threatened by one man's opinion. Isn't that absurd?
Yeah. Don't like, please ignore our own personal Henry Ford. You know,
like, and then like, there's like one piece published recently where a guy kind of like, where someone else at Welt kind of goes through Elon Musk's piece and critiques it and says like, here's why it's not true, just again to like cover their asses. But we also kind of like, I think now at this point know that it was basically pushed through by Matthias Dupfner, who,
the guy who wrote an op-ed a few like last year of being like, oh, we need to stop the AfD. Like, what a fucking loser. I hate these people. Yeah,
I think it's worth reiterating that the position of Welt, and probably a lot of people at Axel Springer Societas Europa, is the AfD have to be stopped because they're kind of uncouth, but the CDU needs to adopt all of their politics.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, we need to have, can we have like the CDU FDP do the exact type of politic that the AfD is doing, but just like, you know, people like it.
We're anti-AfD because we're like, we have a personal vendetta against, like,
they just don't like the image of it. Yeah, it's really, it really is. It simply is just the very, I mean, typical. I mean, because you see this within like the I mean, with every right wing movement currently in like in the Western world of like, oh, we want the same thing, we just don't like the aesthetics. You know, and for Germany, it's just the sense of like, because you have people like, Björn Höcke who are Nazis, and you can legally call a Nazi in this country. like at the helm of this party, and they've been like called, they've been dissolved as like being right-wing extremists, certain parts of the party. They have like very much, their youth group has like very like SS aesthetics and whatnot. Yeah, but they just that's the only thing that they don't like. They like everything else about it. And the thing especially of like this, it is very funny in the sense that then that Elon Musk kind of points out that, a modern day, like robber baron, or no, that's the wrong terminology. The robber, a modern day tycoon that I am, of like, yeah, this party that then it has apparently, they care about German interests. I think that they're good. Me being the wealthiest man on earth, they also have an economic policy that I think benefits me. It's like, well, yeah, of course. The AfD has always been like a hyper deregulated, hyper capitalist Austrian economic party. Of course, the tech nerd thinks that they're good because they're racist and they are going to give him anything that he wants because, I mean, as Mussolini pointed out forever ago, fascism and the economy are, and corporate, like the nation and corporate interests have to come together. That's what the fascist economy is. And when people are like, oh, fascism actually has like a social welfare state, it's like they don't. Nazi Germany's economy was like very much the sense of we need to siphon out all these businesses that aren't owned by Germans so that then we can give them to Germans. Like that is what a lot of the expropriation of that shit was done, of just like, oh, I'm mad that then like the Dreyfus family owns too much and they're Jewish, they need to be German, And great book for that is the what's that Dutch guy who wrote that book about Nazi billionaires. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if you want to then break down any misconceptions about what the what the Nazi German economy was, it is that. It is literally we're going to expropriate this shit, give all these big businesses to Germans, and they're going to get to keep their wealth as long as they like support the party.
Yeah. One other thing I should say, going back to less on Musk and more like the kind of like Welt apparatus, is one part of this that I think is now becoming aggressively apparent is that like despite parties' ideologies or whatever, that shit like means very little to these people. They're also like donor networks, movers and shakers, people who get things done for people, like this kind of like a small c corruption kind of stuff. And you get the impression of whenever Welt does or Build does like an anti-AFD, they're mostly just saying, please don't make us rebuild our like network of fixers and donors to back another party. We're so deeply entrenched in the default party of Germany, of the CDU, that we would really like for you to just vote the CDU again. Right, like they can be AFD, like on paper, they can have the ideology of the AFD, they can do what you hogs want, but like I would like to not have to change my contacts on my phone. I don't know which WhatsApp group chat I'm in to like glad hand various AFD members, but I do know the Volkswagen Forever group chat I'm in with a bunch of like CDU functionaries.
Yeah. I mean, that is, because like the AFD is very much in tune with like very odd, like, what is it? Compact and Junge Freiheit. That's the other paper. Ooh. But that's where they, I don't even know. I mean, I guess like internationally they have like a few connections too within the media landscape thing where they constantly get interviews, but they're like, it's like legit crank shit. And I mean, like Junge Freiheit is a Nazi paper, like, and Compact is also like a paper that was a magazine founded by a former anti-Deutsch guy who became a neo-Nazi.
And then I'm assuming at some point, if we go like at this next election, if they do very, very well, the AFD, we're going to get a lot of these like articles about like, you guys need to professionalize, you need to become a serious party. Get into the Volkswagen Forever group chat with a bunch of very bitter CDU functionaries so we can kind of like bribe and influence peddle you, please. Yeah, it's
Did you see JD Vance like more or less endorse the AFD with this Musk thing? And that was the one where he's like, I don't want to interfere in the elections, but the AFD, people are being mean to them, which means that they must be good. And the fact that then really threw me for a loop is that he was like, this party's the popular in the most region, like most popular in the region that like resisted the Nazis. And I'm like, is he like pro GDR now? Like, is he actually like GDR anti-fascism was actually like, first off, idiot, like moronic understanding of German history. That's not how the GDR forms. You know, it's just simply a geographical split. Two, I agree, actually. Maybe maybe building an anti-fascist state is what we need, and Germany is really fucking that up. So then is he actually then doing the wink, wink, nod, nod, Bundesrepublik Deutschland equals Nazi continuation state, which has been the corner Späti
I think
for years
JD
now.
Vance is just going to do like, he's just going to pick up the Morgenthau plan and just be like, I wrote this.
It's just the thing too, that then when I hear people always be like, oh, JD Vance is so smart, it's like, no, he's just really stupid, but just can kind of like explain himself like out of being dumb because he went to smart people school. Well, I guess dumb people school.
Yeah, no, but he has the political analysis skills of like a toddler.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, like
understand anything. He just maybe uses some nice sounding words, and some people are like, oh yeah, cool.
Yeah,
he must be right because he knows some words, and that's just not how it works.
I think all of this conversation also is like connected to our like language barriers are still kind of a huge thing, because it's like, why is like German intelligentsia like kind of caught with their pants down, surprised that like Elon Musk and JD Vance, who've like openly supported like Georgia Maloney, are now supporting their far right political parties. It's it's kind of like the weird like Economist articles that were like, oh, Georgia Maloney is actually very sensible, like worked on them. And it's like, no, you're the idiot for believing that. When like all of these parties are kind of like getting together and giving them each other thumbs up. Yeah. And you're like, you didn't realize this was going to happen? Like, this is...
Yeah. It was, I will say it was really funny to see all these, as you were saying, all these people that, you know, loved Musk, but were ignoring him loving Meloni or other horrible people.
Trump's Republican Party.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And all these German, quote unquote, journalists or politicians were like, no, Mr. Musk, you should not like the AfD. The AfD are evil. And all, just like all these tweets trying to, quote unquote, like educate Musk. That was the funny. I really, really enjoyed that because it was really funny. It was also very much like, notice me, senpai. I can educate you on German politics.
Yeah,
but it's also just
the
like
man who's like trying to like recreate Iron Sky. Is you're gonna convince him. He's like, what if I built a swastika on the moon or on Mars or whatever?
No, it should be a different shape. The swastika is bad.
Yeah, it should.
No, it is very just like Weimar Republic of just like a bunch of incredulous SPD members being like, no, we fought against that Trotskyist group that was trying to get your like Gigafactory banned in the name of protecting a rare lizard found in Brandenburg. We thought they were idiots too. What do you mean you're a fascist?
Exactly.
Yeah. He really is. I mean, like, Elon Musk's turn towards Germany is going to be very funny, with the sense of, I can't wait for him to publish, when the AfD CDU, coalition happens in like whatever, 2036 or some shit. And
next year.
Yeah. Right, yeah. And No, this year, 2025, baby.
Yeah, fuck yeah, 2025.
And,
Happy New Year.
Like he starts just like publishing his version of what was the like thing that Henry Ford published that's like it was the second most
the Elders of Zion.
No, it wasn't the Elders of Zion. It was like his conspiracy.
He did publish that though.
He did publish it, yes. But then the second most popular book in Nazi Germany were Henry Ford's books on like the Jewish conspiracy. And as I've mentioned before,
the international
Jew, yeah. And there's like, and it's really funny because it kind of is like Henry Ford is the like, I mean, or Elon Musk is the like then whatever the comparison to Henry Ford because people are like, oh, he was an industrialist, but it's like he would just like post, and he has an entire essay just about how the Jews control baseball and how they're ruining it. Which is like very like Elon Musk just like takes like 18 drugs and then will like have 2 bottles of red wine and pretty much post the exact same thing on Twitter for like 18 hours on end, you know?
Yeah, I think like it's just kind of like, you know, first is tragedy, then is farce kind of thing. Cause like, yeah, Ford publishes a book and you can kind of convince yourself that he did that in his off time and then the rest of his time he spent making the Model T or whatever. But then with Musk, it's like, no, we can like every one of these tweets is timestamped. You sent off 36 tweets in the space of like 12 hours. Like you are not running any company. You are not raising any of your children. You are just posting in a way that I'm sure was also probably true for Ford, but at least you could deny it.
Yeah, exactly. We didn't know much of what his, I mean, yeah, he didn't have it like, you know, Henry Ford, you know, at like 4 o'clock in the morning being like, yeah, I think this Babe Ruth guy might be a Jew.
Yeah.
He's hitting too many home runs. Like,
yeah. It's a little bit more transparent now. Well.
Wait.
What we got?
I just saw on the topic. The
Did Henry Ford post something?
No, no. Der Spiegel. Their cover story is Havoc of today or tomorrow, even I think. Robert Havoc, and like it's just a very serious looking portrait of him. And it says, Finger weg von unserer Demokratie, Herr Musk. So like, hands off our democracy, Mr. Musk.
Yeah, but like this is the party that like literally wants the U.S. to like intervene in everything that Germany does. So shut the fuck up.
It's the whole thing of them now being like, no, we don't like Musk, when they had been sucking his dick like this whole time.
Yeah.
Robert, I mean this as a dear friend, Robert. When Der Spiegel wants to do a cover picture of you, it's a trap. Don't do it.
Yeah.
don't fucking do it. It's not going to work out to your favor. It's just going to make you look weird in some way. I don't have the math. I don't have the strategy figured out just yet, but it's a trap. All I know is it's a trap.
Right. Okay, sorry. That was the last.
No, that's good.
It's just like I saw his face and I was like, oh.
So with that, we're just going to say Happy New Year to all the listeners.
Happy New Year.
Welcome to
Happy New Year.
We're recording this on New Year's, 10, 9. And we will catch you on the bonus feed. Ciao, ciao.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.